this is my headlining. It's a hell of a state. I've got it indoors now, and the plan is tomorrow to start stripping all this nastiness off. I need to unscrew these little poppers I put on there to keep the headlining up for a little while. It actually worked to a degree, but they're going. And I need to do the arduous task of scraping off all this nasty old glue, sponge foam stuff. So that should be reasonably straightforward thing to do. I'm going to use a drill with a brush bit on the end of it to do most of it and sand it down and do what I can. But what I wanted to do this evening was to measure out exactly how much of this I've got spare. So I've actually bought some black Alcantara, or Alcantara style, I guess. It's probably not real Alcantara, I don't know. But if I got 4 meters, and it was 50 quid delivered. So it's pretty basic, it's foam backed, but it's not seamed. So it's kind of a one shot, get it on there, otherwise it tears the foam off. 1.5 meters wide, which by the looks of things is going to be absolutely fine. Double check that. Yep. Well, I don't know actually. With a bit of, yeah, hopefully it'll be all right. That would be a real pain in the backside if it wasn't. I did wonder about running a seam and doing a seam all the way along, whether that would actually look quite nice. But that I can do it if I have to, if that roll is not wide enough, but I think it probably will be. And then I've got to measure this out. I think this is about probably 2.5 meters maybe. So I've got 1.5 meters to do the extra bits and pieces. So I'll need an extra piece to do the sunroof cover. And I'd also like to do the A, B, C and D pillars, if I've got enough to do it. The plastic elements of them, I've got some vinyl black paint, so I need to strip them down so even look like the little handle on here. I'm going to have to try and prise that off. It's not screwed in, looks like it's just bonded in, so I'm going to try and get that off without breaking it. Then do this piece, and then glue that back on, paint it and then glue that back on, but fingers crossed that comes up okay. But no doubt there'll be some difficult bits. But it would just be nice to not have this grossness hanging down, dropping bits of foam in your hair every time you drive. So fingers crossed. So next stage is to strip it down and to brush it all down. It's all off, easy to come off. It really didn't put much of a fight. There's only a few places where it was completely deteriorated. There are some places it was still actually stuck, but I mean, it's just gross. So it does leave this gross sticky residue on your hands as well. So this is what's going to be brushed off tomorrow. And then also what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of try and take the opportunity. So these areas like this that have been bent, it's lost its structure. It's in sort of integrity of that kind of weird foam board, whatever it actually made. It's like pressed cardboard, I think, or something. So once I've got this all cleaned up in the back, I think what I might do is varnish the corners, just give them a bit of rigidity. I can't think of anything else I can use to do it, so I might use some fabric tape, but we'll see actually when we go to do it. I think varnish might be a good way of kind of just giving it a bit of help, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm not doing this indoors, I'll get told off by the way. So first go over with the drill brush, gets rid of 95% of it, and then most places it goes right down to a kind of like the base material, which I can't quite tell what it is. It's reasonably soft and a bit sticky, and then you get all these sort of balls of glue which are impossibly difficult to kind of brush off. So I'm gonna clear up a little bit here so I'm not walking it around the house. It does make one hell of a mess. So it's not like dust in the air mess, it's just sticky, gross mess. So do it when your significant other is away and doesn't see. Although we have got a ring camera up there, no doubt she'll see what I've done. But yeah, so it's come off pretty well. There's probably not a lot else I can do with the electric drill. Although I might go over with a dry one and see what it brings off. Maybe with a Scotch pad or something like that, it might scrape it off. But I'm gonna have a bit of a tidy up here first and see what vacuuming does. So there's no point trying to get all the glue off. What I'm trying to get to is a completely flat surface. There's no little bubbles because the new headlining is only like 2mm thick foam on it, so it's quite thin. So what I figured is that a bit of isopropyl alcohol and a little scraper, and literally just go over quickly and just, and that gets rid of all the bubbles. So what we're left with is a far cleaner, so second round, it's much cleaner. So what we now have to go, this is still quite wet now, because the glue has been sort of dissolved slightly with the glue, so there's still quite lots of bubbly bits where I haven't gone over with the alcohol. So I'm going to do like a second pass on this now, and as you can see it's still lots of crud around there, and that probably will show up. I mean, anything more than 1mm bobble size will show up through that headlining, I think, and quite frankly I don't want to risk it. So I'm going to let this dry off a little bit. I need to clean up that again because it's everywhere. And then we'll have another look at this and see whether we can get it even flatter. So, got it reasonably well brushed off, and I'm going to do a quick test fit just to see what does show through and what doesn't. So I bought and tearer because I love making my life difficult. So lay that on with some room to go. Covered in that dust, catching on it as well, which is just perfect. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Why did I get that to go on the sunroof? There's a mark there. Might better get away with that. Still got that on tape anyway. Okay. So roughly speaking, yeah, we'll be fine. So I'm gonna annoyingly cut quite a bit of excess because I need to get that little mark into the sunroof. So, not going to leave me with quite so much, which is a bit annoying, but then it should be okay. Okay, so this is the back. I give myself lots of excess. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go grab that tube out of this. I'm going to start this end, just so I make sure I get that mark into the hub of the sunroof. Okay. So I'm going to need to cover the grass because obviously right. Okay, so I've got it about even both sides. It's fine to go across. So I'm going to wash my hands. Brand new set of gloves. I got free with something the other day. Can't remember what, but good timing. Okay. And sadly, this is where my iPhone battery ran out. So apologies, you don't get to see the entire process, but you kind of saw most of it. There was a fair amount of swearing that you kind of didn't get to see, which is great. But otherwise, it went reasonably well, and I'm quite happy with that. The final look of it as well, which I'll show you in just a second. So this is the end result. I've got to finish trimming around the front here. I wanted to leave until I was ready to get it on the car, actually, because there's a bit of stretching I need to do. But other than that, it's all cut out for the sunroof now. Everything goes in nicely for the, oops, it's going to fall over. Everything goes in nicely for the handles. There's no like bits that are sticking up. It all sits into the edges quite nicely. I've got to cut out the middle still, which is fine. I wanted to let it all settle before I cut anything else out the middle. But everything is absolutely fine. There's a tiny bit of glue I got on there, which I'm sure I'll get off with a bit of solvent. But otherwise, I'm really, really happy with that. It's got such a lovely feel to it. So there are just a couple of wrinkles, and down here you'll see like there's one little area which kind of needs to be pressed in, but that's also where the bolt goes through for the handrail, so for the grab handle. So I'm not too worried about that because it will get pushed in anyway. But otherwise, yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. Not bad at all for a first attempt. It certainly wasn't easy. I've also done the sunroof as well, and as you can see, I did manage to get that out, and I did paint it. Again, that's come out absolutely perfectly. That was the easiest bit of Alcantara I've done over the whole thing, so I'm really happy for that to go back in as well. So that is ready. So this is practically ready to go in. I need to trim this up as I go to put the panels back on. They are also now painted and ready to go. Apologies, it's a bit dark in here. These are all painted black now, rebuilt. So this was just stripped down and masked up. And basically painted in satin black. So they are ready to go back. I'm really, really happy with the finish of those as well. So that's all ready to go. So all I'm doing now is holding fire before I install it all. Because I need to clear out the gutters, the drain holes, the sunroof drain holes, and do a bit more wiring. I've already got the loom in, ready for all the other lights. But I've got a little bit more that I want to do before I get the headlining back on. But hopefully shouldn't be long. I might have to wait until I've got some help because fitting it is somewhat different to doing... sorry, taking it out is somewhat different to fitting it on your own. So I don't want to kind of damage it trying to get this in all on my own. So that's it for this video as well. Again, thanks for joining me. If you would like to kind of subscribe, please do. We're heading towards 500 and we're quite excited about that. If you like this video, please give us a like and let me know your experiences. Have I done something completely wrong? Do you think it's not too bad? Maybe pop something in the comments. My advice would be don't buy cheap material. Buy the headlining material that's got a stitched back to it. So it doesn't come off the back of the, the foam doesn't come off. If you touch the glue and then want to peel it back off again, it stays on the actual headlining. So I'd probably spend a bit more money on the headlining itself. Otherwise you don't really get a second go round at all. But other than that, it went reasonably well. I'm quite pleased with it. So thanks for joining, and I'll see you again soon.